Now, police say they're investigating a case of attempted murder and malicious damage to property after chaos broke out at Maponya Mall in Soweto last night. It has been reported initially that there was a confrontation between minibus taxi drivers, and then the taxi drivers attacked e-hailing drivers in the Maponya Mall parking lot. Police say 3 vehicles were torched and e-hailing drivers were assaulted and one of them was shot. But the Soweto United Ehailing Association says that the violence was an act of crime and not linked to clashes with taxi drivers. To discuss, we're joined by SABC News reporter Mbalenhle Mtethwa. Thanks for being with us in studio. So it's confusing. What do we know happened?
Well, certainly. I mean, initially, as you've said, we understand, we were informed that these were clashes between taxi drivers as well as e-hailing taxi drivers. But upon speaking to the chairperson of the Soweto Ehailing Association, he then said that they do not want to link this to taxi drivers, and they said that they want to distance themselves from, or distance the incident from clashes between the taxi industry. So at this moment, it seems as though they are going on a fact-finding mission where they want to identify who was behind the attack and if it was indeed taxi drivers. But I think what might have led them to assume that this the taxi industry was behind the incident is that, you know, there are allegations that the taxi industry, or the minibus taxi industry, does not want the e-hailing service providers or drivers to pick up passengers within the precincts. And it seems as though there is that conversation around the e-hailing industry taking away customers from the taxi or the minibus taxi industry, which has a station rather, or a taxi rank stationed inside the mall.
Okay, so maybe they don't want to jump the gun. I mean, that could escalate things, so they're going to investigate. But, I mean, police have basically said that e-hailing drivers were targeted. Can we confirm at least that the cars that were seen burning on social media, do we know categorically, do those belong to e-hailing drivers?
Well, earlier on when we were in Soweto, we did speak to some of the people who were there, and some of them were obviously did not want to speak to us on camera. And it seems as though one of the vehicles that was caught up and was torched did not belong to any of the e-hailing drivers, while the other 2 did in fact belong to the e-hailing drivers. So the one car just happened to be at the wrong place at the wrong time, and we understand that a case has been opened, a case of malicious damage obviously has been opened in that regard. But we do understand that there are more cases that are set to be opened, and as more information, you know, comes forward and more people come forward with more information.
Okay, so 2 e-hailing cars, as it were, and 1 not. What's happening now? What's Maponya Mall saying? What are police saying? What's going to happen?
Well, certainly, we understand when we left, they were going into a meeting. Stakeholders were going into a meeting to try and discuss a way forward and find a long-lasting solution to the problem that has existed for a very long time. You will understand that this is not the first time that we're seeing incidents of violence targeting e-hailing service providers or drivers. We've seen them all over South Africa, some of them being prevented from picking up passengers from even Gautrain or the airport or something like that by meter taxi drivers. So right now they're trying to find a solution where all malls will be able to allow e-hailing service drivers to come in and pick up passengers safely, because they need to ensure the safety of both the drivers as well as the passengers who are often met by angry people who don't want them using that particular service.
So who are the stakeholders, and are police there? Because we have heard from e-hailing drivers across media platforms saying police need to protect us.
Okay, certainly we do understand that there are police, there is a high police visibility at Maponya Mall. There are police that have been deployed there to monitor the situation and just to prevent the events of last night from reoccurring today. And this is why, while this meeting is ongoing, there are expectations that e-hailing drivers will continue working normally and obviously, you know, in a safe environment, given that there is police visibility there. But we do understand that some of the stakeholders that have been brought in are the center management at the different malls in all of Soweto to try and find that lasting solution. And we also understand that Soweto Parliament's Mthethwa has also been brought in as a mediator and as someone who is going to then try and assist. We do understand that he's got that long-standing relationship with Maponya Mall, constantly protecting the mall in the event of any form of protest action. You will remember the first time we saw him making headlines was when he protected Maponya Mall during the July unrest, and again when there were threats of another shutdown, we saw him there again, and we're seeing him yet again today trying to ensure and enforce that there is safety and that those who want to operate and, you know, make means end using whatever means are able to do so.
And at the table, just finally, is it the Taxi Association and the e-hailers? So they are speaking directly to each other as well?
We certainly hope that is what will be happening. But at the moment, we can confirm that the Soweto Ehailing Association will be part of those conversations, right. The centre management as well as Soweto Parliament. We are unsure as to whether taxi associations will also be involved in those conversations, given that I did have to go and have an informal conversation with the taxi drivers who were there, who said that they knew nothing of the attacks and said that they believe that they are being falsely accused. However, because they are not the people who are tasked with speaking on behalf of the association, we obviously couldn't get them on camera, but that was the sentiment of the taxi drivers who were there working this morning.
All right, thank you. And later in the show, we will be speaking to the Transport MMC of Johannesburg just after 6 o'clock, as well as the Soweto United Ehailing Association. Thank you very much for that update, SABC News reporter Mbalenhle Mtethwa.